I'm a certified life coach, and I'm really passionate about mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And I believe that this is one of the biggest issues, one of the biggest crises that we're facing in the world today. I believe that, everywhere you look, you can see the symptoms of this, with antidepressants everywhere, with drugs everywhere, with depression and suicide and shootings. And I think all of those are symptoms. All of those are results of being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually unhealthy. So, to me, that's a huge passion. I want to help people as best I can because I've been there. I've been down that road. I had gotten to the place where the way I processed information, the way I looked at life, the way I understood things caused me so much pain that I didn't want to live. I actually prayed and asked God to please let me die because I couldn't deal with the pain that was going on. And what I've learned is that it wasn't the things that were going outside that were causing me that pain. It was things that were going on inside. And so that created this passion, why I create these videos, why I talk to you about this stuff. And the thing I want to talk to you about today, I believe, is the most powerful force ever, anywhere, on heaven and on earth and everywhere. I believe that this is something that absolutely changes lives, absolutely turns people around, absolutely heals brokenness that you can't even imagine, and that is love, of course. I really think that it is our foundation. It's what we're created for, what we're designed to do, all those kind of things. I believe that in our design, in each person, we're designed with a desire to love and to get love. And it's not something we have to try to do. It's not something that, if you're really tough, you can figure out how to turn that off. It's part of who you are. It's part of how all of us are designed as people. I also believe that love is the greatest gift that we can receive or that we can give. And sometimes we don't really know what it is and we don't really know how to receive it, but I still believe it's the most valuable, the most precious thing that we have and that we can get. I do believe that you can love other people without loving yourself. I believe that we have within us this source of love, this capacity to love that's in us. But I believe, there are things that block us from receiving love. So, shame is one of those. I talked about that last time. I believe that when you think that you're a bad, awful person, that you're not worth loving, you close and you don't receive the love that other people might have for you. But I do believe that you still have the capacity, you have the ability to love. For me, my experience, I started thinking about when was really the first time I ever felt love, real love. And for me, it was when I became pregnant, when I found out I was going to have this little person. And I had no idea that I could love another person like that. Even before I met him, I absolutely, I would have done anything. I've given my life for this little person. So for me, that was kind of the first glimpse, and kind of crazy because I was married at that point, but I had no idea what love was, and I didn't know how to receive it. I didn't know how to give it, and so it wasn't until that, and I felt like I got a real glimpse of true love in that experience. So to me, love is really the ability to see beyond an exterior, right? To see beyond what somebody does, what they look like, anything. Like, for me being pregnant, I didn't even know if it was a boy or a girl. I didn't know, what he looked like. I didn't know anything, but I loved that baby. And to me, that's what real love is. It's not about anything exterior. Nothing. It's really about recognizing that there is a soul inside. There is life in there, and it's valuable and precious. And to me, when you can see that in another person, that is the greatest gift that you give them. I think a lot of times we pretend, we put on a little facade, and we want people to love us, so we present this person to them. Never really showing who we really are, because then we're afraid they'll reject us. I've had a few relationships in my life where I could just be myself. I could be real and share who I was. And and still be loved. And to me, those are the most valuable on earth. My really good friend Lori, her and I have shared all of our garbage, right? We've talked about every failure we've had, all the things, and yet we still truly, can love each other. I see value in her, immeasurable. The funny part is what we find is that we have a really hard time doing that same thing for ourselves. So when I got to that place of desperation that I mentioned before, where I was just praying, let me die, I realized that I needed to do something. Something needed to change. And a couple things really impacted that change for me. The first one was I read that book, As a Man Thinketh, and I realized that there was a place inside of me that needed me. No one else can even get there. I was the only one who could do it, and I needed to take care of that place. The second one was a book by Byron Katie called Loving What Is, and she talks about the fact that whenever there's a should in your life, like that person should do that, or these people should, whatever, should, to just kind of turn it around and say, I should, instead of looking at them like they should do this, I should do this. And so, or even, your should nots too. But I realized, I thought, a person should love me and they should do this and they should do that. And when I heard that, I kind of started turning it around and saying, if I feel like that person should love me, then maybe I should love me. And that was a really scary thing for me, because going inside and seeing what was inside of me, there was a lot of garbage in there. There was a lot of stuff that I had kept and I had locked away, and I tried to hide from everyone to try to protect myself. But what I realized is, in doing that, I closed myself off. I closed myself off from receiving the love that I was so desperate for. So I began a process of opening my heart, of allowing myself to love me, and in that allow the love that was in me to start to flow and to be free. It's kind of a crazy concept, but when we close off, we think we're protecting ourselves, but we're keeping us from all the things that we really desperately need. And there's wisdom in fear. There is something in us that says, hey, be careful, this could hurt you. And that's a great thing. It's a gift that we were given, but it shouldn't control our lives. So I've written down some things that I believe that love are. It kind of emphasize on this. And I just want to share those with you because, for me, this has been really life-changing. And a lot of these I took from the Bible because, in 1 Corinthians, he talks about what love is. I just didn't really ever understand it. So kind of for me, this is what I've done. Love is patient, realizing that we're all on a journey and we're learning and growing. For me too, and for you. Love is kind. It sees good in every single thing. There's good in it everywhere. Love is for you. I'm on your team. I've got your back. Love trusts you. You've got this. You can do it. Even if you fail, you'll get back up. You can do this. Love protects you. Says, I'm going to be here for you. I'm not going to leave. I've got your back. I'm going to make sure I'm here. Love listens to you. It hears what you say. It knows that your intent is good. Love is proud of you. It's happy for you. Love is for you. I believe that love is the most beautiful thing on earth. And I believe that it is one of those things that is such a mystery. It's so hard to understand because it is both visible and invisible. It is tangible and intangible. You can see when somebody loves another person. It's obvious. It's an action. It's a verb, right? But it's also a feeling that we have. And I believe that when you see another person's value, or when you see your own value, when you really see it, you realize the value that's there, it changes the way you act, changes the way you treat them, changes the way you feel. And I believe that, love is the force that changes people. I love the movie Les Mis, or the story of Les Mis, because that man who was, a thief and a prisoner and a felon and was treated so horribly because, he had stole a loaf of bread. One priest looks at him and calls him brother and offers him, another chance and tells him that he has a soul and he's here for a reason, and it changes his life. It's not rules and laws and do this and don't do this that makes us valuable. It's the fact that we are valuable. And sometimes we just need somebody to recognize that and see it and help us to see it, right? And sometimes we just need to do that for ourselves. And I believe that when you love yourself, like really love yourself, then you're able to just flow. The love comes in and the love goes out, and you just flow. And that doesn't mean that you accept everything and let people treat you however they want to, but it's that you recognize, you know what, that person is valuable beyond what they're doing, that there's a person inside of there, not just this action that I see. I think every homeless person is this way. There's a hurting little person inside of there that is closed off from everything else because they don't want to get hurt anymore. Anyway, I hope you'll think about that, and I hope that inspires you maybe to look inside, because I believe that's our greatest need is for love, and we have it within us. We can give it to ourselves, and we can share it with the world. Anyway, have an awesome day.